He's desperate to hide it, and now we know why. 3 innocent Americans are dead, and the man behind it all isn't sitting in a jail cell. He's sitting in the California governor's mansion pretending that it never happened. Now, this isn't some small town accident. This is a national cover-up. This is a deadly trucking scandal that Gavin Newsom's team thought that they could quietly bury under paperwork and press releases. But a brand new Department of Transportation report just blew that lie wide open. The truth? California illegally upgraded the commercial driver's license of an illegal immigrant trucker just days before he plowed into traffic, killing 3 people on the highway. And now that the federal report is out, the panic inside of Sacramento is completely real. I mean, you've got officials that are shredding emails, you've got the media running interference, and you've got the governor himself pretending to be a victim, but he's not the victim. The families of those 3 Americans are victims, okay? And now here's the part that's really going to make your blood boil. This wasn't even the first time that it happened. Another illegal driver, another crash, another set of funerals, another semi-truck plowing into traffic. You guys remember the first one, right? Drop a semi-truck accident if you guys remember the first one that only took place, a couple months ago? Meanwhile, President Trump is back in the Oval Office ordering federal investigations, and the same people who ignored the first tragedy are now scrambling for cover. Florida stepping in, Senator Marco Rubio's demanding a national review of trucking visas, and down in Riverside County, a MAGA sheriff is rising up to end California's sanctuary madness once and for all. So why is Newsom so desperate to hide this is the big question, because this story doesn't just destroy Newsom's record, it exposes the entire sanctuary empire that Gavin Newsom built around himself. It's all collapsing. And tonight, we're pulling back every layer of this scandal the media refuses to touch. So stick with me, guys, because by the end of tonight's video, you're going to see exactly how deep this goes and why Gavin Newsom's worst nightmare just begun. Hit the like button and subscribe. 3 lives gone. In seconds, a very quiet morning on the 10 freeway turns into a nightmare as a semi-truck plows through traffic like a missile. Mangled metal, flames, families trapped in cars that they never thought would be their graves. The driver's name? Jasanpreet Singh, an illegal immigrant, high behind the wheel, barreling through Southern California with a license that he never should have had. Local officials, local outlets called it a tragic accident, but nothing about this is an accident, folks. Don't let them lie to you. This was a state-sanctioned failure. California's broken policies handed an unqualified driver the keys to a 40-ton weapon, and 3 innocent people ended up paying the ultimate price. And so while loved ones are lighting candles at a vigil, Governor Gavin Newsom's office was already running damage control, praying that the national press would just look away. They always do. But this time, the story didn't die on the freeway. It detonated in Sacramento. Then came the document that Gavin Newsom never wanted you to see, the October 2025 Department of Transportation report. Now, federal investigators confirmed California illegally upgraded Sign's commercial driver's license, violating new Trump-era safety rules that forbid full CDLs for non-citizens without federal clearance. Now, think about that, okay? Just days before the crash, bureaucrats in Gavin Newsom's DMV removed the restriction that was supposed to keep Sign off of interstate roads. They did it anyway. Paper trail, timestamp, signature, they got all 3. Now, that's not negligence. This is complicity. So when reporters called the governor's office for comments, dead silence. When the story broke through independent outlets, mainstream media backed it out. The same networks that chase every anti-Trump rumor suddenly had nothing to say, because this wasn't just one crash. It was proof California defied federal law, ignored warnings, and put political virtue over public safety. And now the cover-up is cracking wide open. Speaking of ignoring warnings, the biggest mistake retirees make with Medicare is waiting until their plan changes, waiting until the bills pile up, waiting until it's too late. This is why I partner with Chapter, folks. They help to review your Medicare plan now before the problems show up. Now, one of our viewers, she said, I waited too long, but Chapter still helped me fix my Medicare coverage. So let me ask you, are you going to keep waiting, or are you going to do what most people are already doing and taking action today? Now, most people, they're already dialing the phone number right there on the bottom of your screen, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. That phone number again is 909-563 8279. Oh, and here's what another viewer had to say, okay? She said, "Thank you, Ron Yates. Dave from Chapter explained my options to me. And yes, I finally understand Medicare also. I have been overpaying for years. Thank you, Ron Yates. Thank you, Dave from Chapter. Click the link down below or call Chapter today." Now, what if I told you that Sign's deadly license wasn't an isolated screw up? It was state policy. Now, California has been running what insiders are now calling a CDL pipeline for illegals. I can't make this stuff up, guys. DMV employees have admitted that they were ordered not to enforce English proficiency requirements, not to verify citizenship, not to question documentation. One worker even said, "They told us straight up, do not enforce it." So ask yourself, how many unvetted, unqualified drivers are out on the roads right now because Sacramento decided inclusion mattered more than safety? And even if you don't live in California, drop a comment down below. Let me know where you guys are watching from, because even if you don't live in California, understand that these truckers, they're driving across all 50 states. The last major accident happened where, guys? Drop a comment down below. Do you guys remember where it happened? That's right, Florida. How many? That's like 2,000 miles away from Florida. So Gavin Newsom is literally putting the entire country at risk. This is not a small problem at all, okay? They handed out these commercial driver's licenses like candy, letting people who can't even read road signs haul freight across the country. This is not compassion. This is corruption that is hiding behind a smile. And who profits? Well, it's the same politicians that are cashing union checks and calling it equity. California didn't just open its borders, it opened the highways to chaos. And now that chaos has a body count. And then came the spin. Within hours of the crash, the media machine kicked in the gear. Not to report the truth, but to bury it. CNN, silent. MSNBC, pretending it never happened. The Los Angeles Times blamed infrastructure, and ABC said fog. There was no fog. Fog didn't kill those people. Policy did. Only the New York Post dared to print the words illegal immigrant truck driver. Meanwhile, California outlets edited his name out of the headlines in order to protect the governor's narrative. This is what I mean when I say that they're not journalists. They're janitors that are cleaning up Democrat disasters. So when the DOT report dropped, they called it unverified. Unverified? What? It came straight from the federal government under President Trump. What are you talking about? They're terrified that if Americans connect the dots, they're going to see exactly what we see. A state leadership willing to risk lives of Americans to keep their sanctuary narrative alive. And that is a story that they cannot afford for you to hear. Now, here's what makes this even worse. This wasn't even the first time. In fact, just 2 months before the Sign crash, another illegal truck driver made an illegal turn on a California highway and killed 3 people. Same story, same loophole, same blood on the pavement, different names, same failed policy. And what did California do? Well, they didn't bother fixing it. They didn't suspend the program. They doubled down and they handed out more licenses. I mean, the pattern is so clear, even a blindfolded bureaucrat could see it. But they won't, because admitting it means admitting everything that they've built is a lie. How many times, how many families have to lose fathers and mothers or kids or grandkids before California admits that sanctuary politics are killing our people? I mean, it's not compassion when it costs lives, is it? It's insanity that's wrapped in virtue signaling. And so while the funerals are piling up, Gavin Newsom's out here tweeting selfies and pretending that he's saving the world. This is a pattern of death, and it's written in California law. And yet, when ICE finally steps in to clean up the mess, who do the protesters blame? Not the criminals, not the policies, not the California governor. They blame the cops. So in New York, ICE agents raided Canal Street after illegals were caught on camera attacking an innocent man. Nick Shirley, just for filming. 9 of those arrests had records: robbery, assaulting officers, drug trafficking. These are real monsters. And what did the Justice Warriors do? They flooded the streets, waving signs, calling the arrests racist, smashing police cars to protest the removal of violent criminals. It's kind of like they built an alternate reality where good is bad and bad is somehow justice. They chant, "Protect immigrants," while ignoring the immigrants murdered by illegal drivers. They cry about rights, but they trample the law. They claim to stand for compassion, but they celebrate chaos. And every time, guys, Democrats look the other way right up until the next innocent person has to die. While California drowned in its own chaos, President Donald J. Trump, he did what leaders do. He acted. Within days of that DOT bombshell, Trump ordered a federal audit of every state licensing program that's tied to sanctuary policies. He told the Department of Homeland Security, if they refuse to follow federal law, They don't get federal money. Simple, direct, accountable. He also authorized the National Guard to support ICE operations in sanctuary cities, calling it the largest safety push in a generation. Trump didn't need permission. He had the mandate of the American people already, because Americans are tired of being told that their safety is controversial. Drop an amen down below if you agree. When California refused to comply, the funds were frozen. And for the first time in years, Democrats had to face a government that actually enforced the law. This wasn't about politics. This was about protecting citizens. This is what real leadership looks like: decisive, unapologetic, and fearless. And that is when Gavin Newsom snapped. So instead of fixing the problem, he ran to his camera phone, called Trump a dictator, and threatened to sue the White House. This is the same governor who months earlier begged for more National Guard funding to fight fentanyl, but he's now screaming overreach when Trump sends them to stop criminals. You really can't even make this stuff up. He went from meltdown to meme in record time, ranting about Trump's knee pads on social media, picking fights with Joe Rogan, and acting like an influencer instead of a governor. Even his live stream with Barack Obama flopped, barely 5,000 views in 24 hours. California's burning. He's filming TikToks. He's turned governance into performance art. The more people die from his policies, the louder he tweets. He isn't leading, he's spiraling. And the harder he swings at Trump, the more obvious it becomes who's really winning here. So while Gavin Newsom melts down online, a brand new kind of leader is stepping forward. Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. He's not a politician. He is a man who stared down Sacramento's tyranny and said, "Not in my county, you don't." So when Newsom tried to lock down California, Bianco refused. When the state pushed vaccine mandates and curfews, Bianco stood with small business owners and working families. Now he is running for governor, and his campaign message is simple: end sanctuary laws, end the income tax, and end the nonsense. Drop an end the income tax down below if you stand with Bianco on that one. Now, Bianco represents something that California has not seen in decades: accountability. He's promised voter ID, border enforcement, and a crackdown on every policy that turned the Golden State into a crime scene. Now, for the very first time in a long time, Californians are realizing that they actually have a choice between chaos and courage. And if Bianco wins, that is not just a red wave. It is a full-blown political earthquake. Meanwhile, the fallout from this scandal has gone national. Senator Marco Rubio, he's calling for a temporary freeze on commercial trucking visas, demanding that federal authorities verify every foreign driver before they ever touch an American highway. He said it bluntly: no more tragedies because Washington looked the other way. Rubio's move echoes President Trump's executive order, tightening the flow of work permits and punishing states that defy federal safety laws. And while blue states cry racism, Florida's leading the charge, filing a lawsuit against California's sanctuary system for endangering the nation's supply chain and security. Now, this is not just a political divide anymore. This is a moral one. You've got Republican-led states standing for law and order, and Democrat-run states that are hiding behind hashtags and excuses. Trump's America is clearly moving forward, rebuilding accountability from the ground up. Meanwhile, Gavin Newsom's empire crumbles from within. The contrast couldn't be any clearer. And now it's all coming down. The lawsuits, the audits, the funding freezes, they've all started to close in on Gavin Newsom's sanctuary empire. The same sanctuary cities that bragged about being inclusive are now broke, unsafe, and begging for federal help. Every time Newsom blames Trump, another document leaks. Every time the media defends him, another whistleblower speaks out. It is collapsing under its own hypocrisy. California was supposed to be this model of progress, but instead it became a warning label for the rest of America. Do not do this. And the American people are finally seeing it. Even lifelong Democrats are saying, look, enough. We've had enough. Because sanctuary isn't safety, it's surrender. It's giving criminals a shield while taking it away from the citizens. And this DOT report, this is the wrecking ball that just tore through the entire facade. For the first time, the truth isn't hiding behind headlines, it's standing out in the open. So where do we go from here, guys? I mean, 3 innocent people just lost their lives because politicians wanted virtue points. But out of tragedy comes clarity. The families who lost everything now have the nation behind them. The federal government under President Donald J. Trump is enforcing the law again. States like Florida and Texas are drawing the line, and Californians are realizing that freedom and safety aren't partisan, they're survival. Newsom can dodge interviews, delete tweets, and hide behind talking points, but he cannot outrun accountability forever. His cover-up failed because Americans are watching now. This isn't just a California story anymore. This is a national awakening. And to every patriot that's listening right now, remember, they tried to hide it, they tried to bury it, but we just dug it up. And we're not done yet. Like, subscribe, share, and stay loud, Patriots, because the truth is louder than their lies.